Hi everyone, Bandana here, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a Next Fest video. Today we're taking a look at all the new demos from Hooded Horse, and a special mention at the end of another demo that's new to Hooded Horse, but technically not new to the rest of us. So I've spent some time with all of these demos over the last few days, and I'll give you a quick rundown, and then you can either go and play them and let us know what you thought, or if you've already played them, let us know down in the comments so other people can get an idea of what you guys thought as well. As ever, Hooded Horse has a wide mix of games with a focus around strategy as a broader term, and this selection of games definitely fits with that. Now, they're not in any particular order, but I'm going to start with Heart of the Machine. This is a very clever game and looks awesome. Okay, so the quick synopsis is you're a sentient AI born into a city filled with unsuspecting humans. You need to raise an army of robots and obliterate your enemies. You can become a benevolent machine overlord or explore countless other objectives and the many paths to accomplish them. This is a game where you are talked to through the entire thing as if you are that AI. It's trying to see everything from the AI's perspective. Making decisions will matter to how you play the game, and you can be good, you can be bad, you can annihilate the humans, you can work with them. The list goes on. So the game itself is like a turn-based 4X RPG that's sci-fi based. So think of it as having combat a bit like, not quite like, but a bit like the sort of combat you would get in, I don't know, Civilization, but crossed a bit more with the combat you would get in XCOM. The game is so intricate, and there's so much detail, and there's so much to do, it really does blow your mind when you start this up and start getting into it, just how much there is going on. And it just seems like an incredibly clever idea for a game. So to the developers over at Arson Games, you have done an amazing job. But, yes, there is that word, but. There's one problem, is that the tutorial isn't great, and I found that other content creators that I'm in chats with have had the same kind of issue, in that there is simply so much going on and so much information being thrown at you, but it's not very clear sometimes what it is you're supposed to be doing. Overall, I would say this game has actually blown me away with its scale, its size, all the stuff that's going on. But that tutorial really needs to be tied down to something that is just a bit more spoon-feedy, so that people know what they're doing and where they're going. Because while you're doing the tutorial stuff and getting your head around that, there's still a world of stuff going on around you and so many icons and things. It is a bit overwhelming. I think that's a good word. I highly recommend giving the demo a go, though. I think it is really good. I just think it is a bit overwhelming, the amount of stuff that's going on. But this is, you know, an unreleased game, and it's something that the developers can now take feedback on and work on. So if you do play it, do leave them some comments on the Steam forums, join the Discord, whatever, because they will want that feedback. Okay, so that was Heart of the Machine, which is a 4X RPG strategy game. Let's move on to something completely different. Let's have a look at Beyond These Stars, which is a city builder based on the back of a space whale. So unusually for a city builder these days, it is on a hex map, so a little bit different. And as with any city builder, you've got to sort of maintain the needs of your people with food and water and everything else, and you've got to continue to expand your research, get further down the tech tree, get access to more buildings, build more stuff. There's also a storyline to go along with it, and all the while that you're doing all this stuff, you have to be aware that some of your buildings are going to cause pollution, and how much of an effect that's going to have on the whale itself. Obviously, you're aiming for a symbiotic relationship with the whale. And obviously, other than building your actual main city, you'll also be building outposts, meeting aliens, and uncovering the mysteries of the universe. And without wanting to spoil too much, your relationship with the whale will be paramount in the long run. The game is being made by Balancing Monkey Games, who previously worked on Before We Leave, and that game was pretty well received, so I have reasonably high hopes for this one too. Okay, let's move on to something that's a bit of a city builder and a bit of an adventure game and a bit of a survivor game, you know, like Vampire Survivors, and that is Super Fantasy Kingdom. This game, made by Freya's Beer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, you are aiming to rebuild your kingdom and explore a vibrant fantasy world in a roguelite city builder. You will defeat hordes of monsters with a unique team of defenders as you harvest, build, mine, cook, brew, and grow. But should your defenses fail, you'll watch it all burn. Now, this game is very much pixel art. As you can see, the map kind of resembles the old Super Mario games. I wonder if that's where they got the Super from for this title. Obviously, being a roguelite, you're not supposed to necessarily get through it in your first playthrough, and you're supposed to go back and forth and be able to access different heroes at the start, a lot like Vampire Survivors really. And much like other roguelike games, you will start with more resources because you've previously expanded to new areas and uncovered more of your kingdom, etc, etc, etc. You'll also find there are some RPG elements because you'll have to make decisions as you go along the way. It's definitely an interesting twist on a town or city builder and the whole Vampire Survivors style game. I'm not sure this one was 100% for me, but I know there'll be people out there who really enjoy this style of game. But as you'll know from my previous videos, I have very mixed feelings about roguelites. However, I will say there's plenty of demo available, so you can get stuck in there and see if it's your thing. Okay, time for something completely different again. This time we're taking a look at Blacksmith Master, made by Untitled Studio, who previously made Tavern Master, which has been very well received and has very positive Steam reviews. In Blacksmith Master, you will be managing your very own medieval smithy and supervise the entire process from mining ores and gems to designing and selling finished products. Forge everything from weapons and armor to tools, cooking utensils, and everything else to fund your craft and become the Blacksmith Master. It should be noted at this point that you do get staff, so you don't have to do everything yourself. Now, what makes this game interesting is every part of the crafting sequence has a little mini game to improve your outcomes and therefore make more money. As you progress through the game, you will unlock more tools, more benches, more capabilities to make more things, and get new blueprints as rewards for doing other jobs. Your staff will come pre-trained to some extent, but you can train them up further and make them a specialist master in one area, or make them a generalist that can do a bit of everything. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Admittedly, again, this isn't really my type of game, but I know there's a huge fan base for these types of games out there, and I know quite a few of my friends really enjoy them. The game is obviously still in development, so do feel free to download the game, give it a go, and give them some feedback again, because I'm sure they'll appreciate knowing where they might need to improve or change things up. Alright, as if that wasn't enough, that's our 4 brand new demos. However, there's also been a new updated demo released for Fated Diem, the God game. Inspired by the God games of old, it will let you mold settlements and townsfolk into your image. Will you raise the settlements to splendor or spur them on to violent debauchery and demons? Watch as a living world grows under your whims. The choice is basically yours. Do you want to be very good or very, very bad? Do you want to convince people to worship you by doing nice things, or do you want to conquer them by terrifying them? In the final game, there will be a proper campaign mode, but in this demo you will get to play a skirmish mode where there are a couple of other gods in play as well, who are technically your enemies. You have a limited number of days to complete the task. Don't expect to do it first time, I certainly didn't. Unfortunately, there's no saving or loading in the demo as it stands, so you just kind of have to play through it in one sitting. So far from what's there, it's a very well thought out game. You get loads of different powers, you can interact with people in different ways, you can interact with the various resources on the map as well, all the while influencing and managing your people and their towns, expanding both those towns and creating new settlements across the map. Honestly, from my time playing the demo, I think you can be extremely cruel to these poor little people. Part of the tutorial asks you to, experiment with God's fist and punch them, and you can, angle it different ways, and I accidentally punched a guy off a cliff. Obviously, you can be really nice to them as well, or be really nasty to them. The choice is obviously yours. And different AI opponents will do different things. Some of them will be nice, and some of them will be very violent. If you're a fan of old god games and city builders and things like that, definitely worth giving a go. It's a really interesting game. Okay, and the final game I wanted to touch on is sort of a special mention because the demo's been out a while, although I will say the demo for this game has gone through a few different revisions, and that is Cataclysmo. The game is being created by Digital Sun, and they've just signed up with Hooded Horse as their publisher. I, for one, was really pleased about this matchup, as they are literally a match made in heaven. Cataclysmo is a real-time strategy game about building castles brick by brick and then defending humanity against swarms of horrors. You will build stunning fortresses, deploy troops of various types in various formations and positions to best defend your citadel. All the while, as with many strategy games, having to manage your production and also your resource gathering. You will also find you need to explore some of the maps to find more resources and also to find good points to maybe set up some external base defenses. I do have to commend Digital Sun. They've gone through a few different iterations of their demo, and each time it has improved significantly from the last. If you're a fan of tower defense games, if you're a fan of games like Stronghold, and generally a lot of RTS games, I think you'll actually enjoy this one. It's definitely worth a look. Give the demo a go and see what you think. Oh, and the way you build the castles, anyone who grew up liking LEGO, aka you still like LEGO secretly, will love this game. And it's not long to wait for this one either. It's due out on July 16th. And the team at Digital Sun are still looking for feedback, so if you do play the demo, let them know what you think. And there you have it, a wide selection of games based around strategy to some degree from Hooded Horse and their respective development teams. Hooded Horse, as many of you know, continues to impress as a publisher, and once again we're seeing some great titles being picked up by them, and they have made great efforts to support those development teams and also content creators like me, so many thanks to them for being exceptionally good at the top end of companies to work with. Remember, if you try the demo, come back, let us know what you think, and also remember, if you like it, stick a wishlist up there. It is really helpful for those developers to promote their games. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great Steam Next Fest, and I'll see you all soon.